Take a look at this thing. Bet you've never seen one of these before. This is a 1989 Quadzilla with a KZ 750 engine swap. $300 for this thing. Oh, there's some oil. 12.6 volts. Please be power. Oh yeah. Look at that. So, a little lower than I'd like. Pry that off, yep. Cool. Ooh, not the greatest. Sonic cleaner going. Dump the first bowl in. See where we're at here. So, timing's gotta be off. The green and red wire from the pickup coil, that controls 2 and 3. So I think we have ours backwards. Alright, we've got these coil wires reversed now. Alright, we're finally back with the 1989 Suzuki Quadzilla 750. And this one is an interesting one. I've never seen anything like this. So this is a Quadzilla frame with a KZ 750 engine swapped into it. And if you guys watched the previous video, you know that we picked this thing up for $300, basically from the junkyard. There's a bunch of parted out quads and dirt bikes laying around this thing, all rotting away. I offered the guy $300 for this thing, so come grab it. So we got this thing back home, started diagnosing it, and there was a lot wrong. Obviously it did not run. The wiring was all janky on it, we had to rewire it. The carburetors were completely clogged and just horrible. So we cleaned out all 4 carbs. That took me like 3 hours to do. We got all new fuel lines and filters on there. All new spark plugs. Cleaned up the fuel tank. And we actually got this thing to puff over a couple times. But it would not run. We found out that one of the cylinders was a little low in compression, but that wouldn't cause it not to run. So what it was actually doing was spitting out flames out of the exhaust and the carb. So that told me that timing was off. So we checked timing, that was good. And then we checked the coil wires, and we found that the coil wires at one point were swapped around, and that was causing the timing to be off, which would cause the spark to be at the wrong time, which in turn caused the flames out of the engine. We swapped those coil wires around the way they were supposed to be, and this thing fired right up. So we were about to take this thing for the first ride last video, but this thing needed a ton of work to do that yet. Both brakes on this machine are just non-existent. You get no front brake. The rear brake is really bad, all locked up. There's no chain on it. You can see it was missing the chain when we bought it. The clutch cover wasn't hooked up right here. Clutch cable was missing up here, along with the lever. And we needed a new battery for it as well. So we actually ordered up a bunch of parts for it, and we're gonna try to complete this thing today and take it for the first ride, which I'm a little nervous for. Supposedly this thing goes over 100 miles an hour, is what the seller said. So it should be interesting. I went and bought this off of Amazon. This is a brake bleeding kit. So it has a little pump here to help us bleed the brakes. We're gonna need that for sure. Got new chains, we got new exhaust gaskets. The exhaust was just leaking by the pipes there, so hopefully this will prevent that. And then we got a couple more parts in here, like a clutch cable and all that good stuff. So let's get going with the video. We are going to start working on this thing, and we'll see if we can get her up and running today. All right, I think we're gonna start off by getting this chain on and this clutch figured out. So there's actually a push rod here, the clutch. So that activates the clutch. That rod goes into the clutch mechanism here. And when you pull the lever, it pushes in on that rod, which activates the clutch. So that cover obviously needs to be on for this thing to work. We're also missing the shifter, so we're going to try to find a shifter lever for it as well. And a foot peg, looks like. We'll have to figure out something there. But the chain goes from this sprocket to that sprocket down there. It's a long stretch. Alright, that's definitely going to be long enough. We're going to have to adjust this chain here. Okay. Let's try cutting it here first. Oh, that's a strong one. Oh man. Oh. There it comes. There we go. There's the pin. There's the other chain link. Once we get this chain tensioned up, so to do that, we need to loosen up these bolts here. These were pretty loose already. Didn't ride it like that. That was tight. We got a new impact, the big boy. See if I can take it out. Oh yeah, no problem. All right, now we go down here and adjust these. I believe we're gonna go in with them, so let's just see. All right, we finally got that to go on. Get our master link on. Alright, chain is officially on. Alright, finally got that chain on. That was a bit of a struggle, but we got it. And it seems to be going pretty good. Now we can work on this clutch cover. Line up this hole here, the rod here. We're gonna spray that with some penetrating oil. It looks a little rusty. Spray the clutch. I think that's good enough. Alright, then we can get some bolts in here. See if that tightens down. Alright, we found this shifter for it. Hopefully that's the right one. We'll see. This can go on. It's pretty long. Oh. Probably going to go pretty high up with it because it hits the pipe. If you go any lower than that, our bolt. See if this thing shifts. All right, shifter's on, chain's on. Let's get the clutch cable hooked up. So here's the cable. Gotta route that to here. You see we're missing the lever. So let's try to get a lever fitted up there. All right, we found the lever for it. All right, I think we got the clutch working pretty good. We adjusted it down here. That nut comes off right there. And you can twist this rod in and out depending on where you want the clutch to activate. And we got pretty close. So right now you pull in the lever, you can see it spinning. All right, we got the chain on, the clutch fixed up, that all situated, the shifter on. Let's work on these exhaust gaskets. So these all have to come out. And then the gaskets over here have to be installed. They were leaking pretty good. I don't think there's any gasket in there. Yeah, there's nothing in there at all. Let's try to fit one of these in. All right, these two gaskets are the ones that had problems, so those are all fixed up. The other ones on the other side were perfectly fine, so we're just gonna leave those for now, unless we have problems with them. But let's move on to the brakes. That's what I've been dreading. All right, let's take a look at the master cylinder here. See if we can get that open. Oh man, that one barely came. I think this one's stripped out. Oh, it came. It was just about to strip out. Oh yeah, it's completely empty in there. Dry as a bone. Let's get that filled up. What happens? Hopefully it was just empty and it doesn't leak. Let's see. What are the chances it'll just bleed itself? I don't That'd be awesome. I don't think it's gonna happen though. Here. It's forming now. First, see if this master cylinder is working. Ooh, that is rusty. I'm guessing that's all clogged up. Oh, is that rusty? Wow. There's no way. Look how rusty this is. It's not looking good. Let's see. I feel pressure. There it is. There we go. It's leaking in there. Well, it's pumping a little bit. Definitely getting harder. All right, it's almost bled. We gotta get the air out of here. Let's see, I want to break this thing off. And we're really, holy. I don't think that's gonna come off there. That is on there tight. I think that's gonna snap off. Let's try the other one. If we snap it off, we have 0 brakes, so we really can't let that happen. Okay, that one came. Alright. See, it's pouring out of there. Looks like we don't have to use our tool for this one. Oh yeah. Can't believe that didn't break off of there. Look how rusty those are. Pump it a couple times here. Right now, pump it. It's hard right there. Doesn't go back all the way to the grip. So that brake is working great. That is fixed. Cannot believe we were able to believe that. This thing's been sitting outside for years and years and years. So lucky to get that brake working. All right, the rear brake, I think it's far worse. This is really rusted in here. Get some penetrating oil in there. Up in here. That is completely dry as well. Let's get some fluid in there. Alright, let's see. Nothing happened. I'm gonna try to crack the bolt there. It's on there pretty good. There we go. Something coming out. Let's see if anything shoots out when we pump it. Nothing. Let's see if we hold it. Not feeling any pressure from anything. All right, we're going to use our new tool here. So we got this pump and this bottle. It hooks up to the nipple here. So we're going to disconnect the nipple, get that free for now. If we can. There we go. Just make sure that nipple is free of any holes here. And that's not clogged. Patch we're fitting on here. Now we're going to pump this until it reaches 10 on the pressure meter here. And we're going to crack it. You can see it's pulling the brake fluid out. Let's keep on pumping this. And you can see the brake fluid coming out of the line here. Get that pressure back up here. All right, we unplugged it. We got a lot of fluid to come through, but look at this. This is leaking right here. Lots of brake fluid. So our master cylinder, I believe, is leaking. So it's not getting a tight seal when you pump it. So you pump it, it's not pushing fluid. We'll never be able to get that bled properly if that's leaking. But our tool did work. It was bleeding the system just fine and pulling that fluid through, which is what we wanted. So I can definitely see that tool being handy in the future. All right, so it looks like we won't have any rear brakes. At least we have the front one working really good. But I noticed the lug nuts are all loose here. The axle bolt was loose. These are tight. These are really loose. Look at the slop in there. That's why you always check your wheels. It's missing a nut as well. And let's see what the back one looks like. That nut's loose too, the axle nut. Let's try to find a cotter pin for those. Alright, I think this thing is pretty much good to go. We're going to try to get all the plastics back on, the seat back on. Try to make this thing look halfway decent. Then we'll start it up and try test driving this thing. Alright, we went ahead and got a foot peg on here that I think might work just fine. At least it's above the pipe. And it's actually pretty comfortable for shifting. So that should work. We went ahead and got a brand new battery, so let's install that next. Make that wire a little bit bigger. All right, we got this thing rewired. Longer cable here. So we can go this to this. Negative to negative. All right, let's see if she fires up today. We're gonna choke it. We've got gas going to it. One of the coil wires pulled out and it was sparking on the engine. Gotta fix that. All right, let's see if that fixes it. sounds a lot better. Check the exhaust gaskets. Those look pretty good. All sealed up. This thing is going to be insane. Alright, let's just do a little test drive, see if this thing moves with the clutch. Well, it's definitely moving. Before we tear up my whole lawn, let's go take it to the land. Give it a nice test drive. It's running pretty good. Revs out completely. I just can't believe it's running this good. And it moves. The clutch was pretty sticky at first, but it freed up eventually. This is without the choke on too. Listen to this. Not bad. Not bad at all. And it fires right back up too. Alright, it's lacking power now for some reason. Let's see if the gas is in there. Yeah, gas is in there. You know it's getting gas. Let's see what's going on here. There's gas in the filter. That looks good. Carbs are tight on there. Let's see if all the plugs are plugged in here. Those look like they are. It was definitely low on power. Something's going on. It was doing really good in the beginning. I wonder if that plug wire popped out again. Or maybe followed the spark plug or something. Because right now, let's try starting this thing up. It's on. Huh. It instantly dies. And it won't start up with the choke off. It blew like a head gasket or something. Not good. Let's see if all the cylinders are hot here. That one's hot, that one's hot. Let's see if these are... This one's not that hot. Let's see. Yeah, this one's really hot. This one's not that hot. Right here. I can try changing that plug out. Coil. The plug is warm, but it's not like extremely hot. Not like the rest of them. Alright, plug looks pretty good. It's not all wet or anything. Let's see if we're getting spark. We're not getting any spark. Zero spark from that. Not seeing anything at all. Not good. Let's see what the boot looks like here. Take this guy off. Yeah, that's fine. A wire pull out. We'll try a different plug, but I don't think it's gonna be the plug. Alright, new plug. Luckily I brought some new plugs with. Let's see if that makes a difference here. Nothing. What the heck? Yeah, we're not getting anything to that plug. Alright, let me just see if any of the wires are off of it. Aha! I found the problem. This coil wire right here was disconnected. It was to be connected to that peg, and that was not. So I don't think both cylinders were running. So 2 cylinders were not running. So that was the problem, I think. Let's plug that back in and we'll see if that solves our issue. Alright, now we have good spark. We put the plug back in. Let's see if this thing fires up now. Much better. Now it's idling better too. Well, that was $300 worth of fun right there. This thing is awesome. We got this thing running good again on all 4 cylinders, and it absolutely rips. I mean, it has tons of torque. Put it in first gear, you can pretty much get through anything. It is a lot of fun. And then the inch of snow we have makes it even more fun. I mean, this thing is a blast right now. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't think this thing was even gonna shift through the gears. So to be able to run, drive, start right back up, go through all the gears, the clutch works, the brakes work, I mean, that's a small miracle in itself. That is just insane. Got this thing for $300, and it actually runs and drives. I think we need some pod filters though. I think it's sucking in snow. But for $300, I'm like, we're gonna rip this thing and just beat on it. But everything's holding up. I cannot believe it. Last ridden in 2013. Wow. Well, I think this thing was well worth the $300 we spent on it. Just took a little bit of time, and we had to buy a battery for it, but that was it. And now this thing runs and drives great. And it's a ton of fun in the snow. So, the 1989 Quadzilla 750 lives again. We gotta see what Vinny thinks of it. Vinny, wanna hear this thing fire up? What do you think? Come on. Pretty smoky out the exhaust. Well, first ride on this thing went way better than expected. I didn't even expect this thing to move. I didn't think the clutch was going to work. I didn't think anything was going to work on this thing, to be honest. But it surprised me, and we brought this thing back to life. Quick check the oil. It seemed like it was burning oil pretty good. Yeah, the oil level came down a little bit, but it's still visible in the window there. So we'll probably have to top that off every time we ride it. And it looks like we need some pod filters for it. I think that was sucking in some snow. But I mean, this is just a beater quad. I was not expecting it to even run, like I said before. And we really drove it hard today. We were just really, really hard in it. Just trying to test it out, see if anything was gonna break. And the only problem we had was the wire coming off in the coil. Right there, the red wire, which caused it to only run on 2 cylinders. But once we fixed that, the power was back and this thing ripped pretty good. I'm guessing this thing probably does about 80 miles an hour on the pavement when you can actually get traction. But right now we were just riding in snow and it wasn't getting the best traction, but still really fast and really fun. And I think it was well worth the $300 that we paid for it. So a couple more things to finish up on this one, and this one will be good to go. So hopefully you guys enjoyed picking this thing up for $300, diagnosing the no start issue, getting it to start up for the first time, and then taking it for the first ride today. Definitely satisfying fixing these old ones up and hearing them run and start up for the first time. This one was definitely a challenge, but I think it was worth it in the end. So thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for subscribing. Stay tuned for next video, and until next time, we are out.